I now know that this craft and this talent has definitely been bestowed on me. And I think in terms of failure and why the word failure no longer sort of circles my orbit anymore is because I've truly come to realize that for me, the true measure of my life and my success is serving God and stewarding the talents and gifts that I have to give Him glory and serving others.
702.
The upside of failure.
Proof that a setback can lead to a step forward.
It's the upside of failure, and I'm really excited for our conversation that we are having this afternoon. We have a film and television actress who's offered a range of substantial and intriguingly diverse roles. Some of her appearances you may remember her from is Black Tax, a show called MTV Sugar Down South, as well as Outlaws, which is airing on Showmax. And someone's been saying that she's in the studio here. She looks nothing like what we see her to be on screen. She's absolutely stunning, and she joins us now. Mamodibe, good afternoon. Thank you so much for your time.
Afternoon, Kgomotso. Thank you for having me and inviting me. I don't want to claim to be an avid listener of the show, but I have been one of your new members. I know some people will claim the first number one fan.
Yes.
So I won't say I'm the number one fan, but I definitely am an avid listener of Upside of Failure. So thank you for having me.
Well, welcome to the family.
Thank you.
I think it's, whenever we speak about failure, and this is why I love this feature so much. It's a thought and an idea that we shy away from because of what we perceive it to be. A setback, right?
Yes.
It's a setback, and it's scary. No one wants to identify with failure. No one wants to own it. And I find, this is an opportunity for us to reflect on just how much failure really can result in a lot of growth.
Yes.
But also what you think is a setback is really what may be propelling you towards your future. What are your thoughts and philosophies on failure?
On failure. Interestingly, when I received the brief for today, and I thought, the word failure has not existed in my vocabulary for years. And quite recently, I think, maybe in the last 3 or 4 years, I sort of ruminated on this idea about regret, which is another word I seldom use, right? And only for the reason that I think that to regret something is to rob your older self of being present. To regret is to stand in the present moment and think that my past person had all the knowledge and the resources to make the decisions that they made. And I think I have this similar philosophy with failure that looking back, I wouldn't consider these conversations that we're about to engage in today as failures necessarily, but definitely as lessons, So that was just my preface for this conversation.
Yes.
But I haven't used the word fail in a long time.
Yeah, I think we use it in school a
Yes,
lot.
yes.
Your mom was like, oh, fades.
Yes, right?
In fact, when they started using different words to describe, I think they would start saying regress. What did they? I think that in school they started saying regress.
Oh.
Or they would say, there was, I think report cards stopped using the term fail.
Oh, they had always used fail. I mean, not that I had a lot of those, but
But I think there was an alternative term. But I think our parents would always say no, phase.
yes, Yeah.
And I suppose that forces you to come into contact with the reality that you haven't done well. Talk to me about Mamodibe. I mean, I realized that you are from Soweto.
Yes.
Listen, you're my home girl.
Oh, hi.
Because I'm also from Soweto.
Okay.
Well, Orlando.
Okay.
Yes, and you?
My grandmother hails from Orlando East, if I'm not correct. If I'm not mistaken, rather.
Okay.
My maternal.
That's deep Soweto.
But people say that.
Yes.
And you know what? I'll let you guys have it. I won't fight it any longer. My maternal family and my paternal family is both from there. I roamed around the streets of Naledi, Moletsane as well growing up. I know I've got some distant relatives from Orlando, as I've said. Deep Kloof, and I think Dobsonville. ke ngwana lekeishene.
Yeah, people, the deep roof, Orlando,
Yes.
people, Pimville, we don't really
Well,
identify,
it's
you know.
suburbs.
We're like Soweto Lights,
It's-
you know. Entry level Soweto.
all I'm saying, we all took taxis to get out of Soweto.
Yes, yes. Talk to me about your upbringing there, Kotladi in Soweto.
So a large part of my childhood and my formative years were in Soweto because my grandparents, my maternal grandparents, sort of really raised me basically. And I like to believe that I was raised by a community of people. There was a particular home, Kostrateng Sarona Ramodibe, where my grandmother used to just leave me there, and she knew when she left me there I was safe. My youngest uncle from my mom's side of the family we grew up like brother and sister, so to speak.
Yeah.
Before then, things changed and I moved to the west side of Gauteng, and I grew up in the west with both parents. So I grew up around community. I was raised by more than one person, particularly in my formative years. And my mother has been very instrumental then post that, as someone who's just being an anchor for me, a role model, or everything under the sun. I grew up very, very excitable. I was an excitable child. I was also, because I was raised by my grandparents, I was the youngest all the time, everywhere I went. So that was interesting because I think I had an opportunity to learn from much older people. I'm an old soul. I'm raised by strict, very disciplinarian sort of like grandparents, and I think I've sort of borrowed that without realizing.
Yeah.
I'm myself the disciplinarian, the the one who's sound counsel for people. But I had a colorful childhood.
Yes.
There was that time, kidiketo, kimakusha.
Hey.
Ke re tsamaya ka dikhupu, re ya ko
party.
Moletsane, re ya lo kopana le bo mamang, re dlala. So I had a colorful childhood and I'm so grateful for it.
Yeah. And interestingly, you say that around that time, your formative years, your childhood, that's when you experienced your first failure.
Yes, it is.
What was, you were at school, primary school?
Yes, primary school, grade 5. I was about 11 years old. And just to give you context, I got involved in netball, whatever sports activity, cultural activity. So I was fairly known, in the system.
Yeah.
And then there was this public speaking competition. I think it was the first of its kind, the inaugural one. And one child from every class in each grade was allowed to enter. The entire school was there. I think some parents were invited, ground staff, all the staff. And there I was. It was my turn to go up on stage. And all I could let out was the title and the first line of my speech.
Oh, man.
I was so distraught. I was traumatized for a good maybe 5 years thereafter. And perhaps I perceived it as a failure that time because, like I've said, I was doing well academically. I was involved. So there was this expectation to perform,
Yes.
to come out on top. And that's why it felt like a failure. And at the time, my beloved mentor and teacher, Ms. Faith Mohosi, she had actually signed me up for it because she trusted that I could pull it off. But I later learned that, it wasn't a topic I even resonated with. I think she was just like, this is smart. This is going to stand out and you're a smart girl and you're going to do it. Yeah, no, it did not end well. It ended in tears.
Yeah. Well, it actually ended with you on theater stages.
Yes.
It ended with you
Actually.
on big stages performing, right?
Yes.
And that was a moment of preparation. I think maybe it was a prophetic moment that one day you would occupy platforms like that, and you wouldn't mess it up.
Yeah, I have. I hope I haven't messed it up since.
We're speaking to Mamodibe Ramodibe. She is an actress and she's in studio with us this afternoon for The Upside of Failure. After the break, we're going to be taking some of her favorite songs.
702.
It's the upside of failure right here on afternoons. My name is Kgomotso Modise. I'm in for Relebogile Mabotja this afternoon. And my guest this afternoon is someone who is no stranger to the screen. And I think your film your film experience has been so beautiful to watch. Your growth has been so lovely. You've been talking to us, Mamodibe, about your growth in Soweto and your first experience. At what point did you then decide? I mean, I can imagine after the trauma of being on stage, and things don't go your way. I would never want to be,
Of course.
to perform in front of people. In fact, find me something in the back. Give me a career where I don't have to face anyone. At what point did you decide, actually, I'm going to take on a career path that will force me to meet the eyes of people once again and be a performer?
Sure. I think I've always been artistically inclined without even realizing it. And I say this now with so much conviction because I have had to accept it that this career path has actually chosen me. My grandmother has fond memories and stories of me either imitating someone on screen or singing a song on the radio as a 3-year-old. And I don't even have good recollection of all of that. But I also do remember some of my cousins speaking to these things about how, I was always the one who goes, when we're gathering for family gatherings, I am imitating an aunt, and and they're sitting there and they're watching it. But then at school as well, I also recall being someone who's able to draw, and I loved poetry. I wrote a lot growing up. I used to journal, and so there were glimpses of this artistic line. And that moment, which I dubbed one of my biggest failure, actually, it didn't deter me. I think when you grow up in the township, you have so much resilience.
Yes, yes.
You have so much
Absolutely.
resilience. And if anything, you want to show up again and redeem yourself. So the decision was made, I think, around grade 11 or matric.
That you're going to be
I'm going
an
to
artist, a
actually,
thespian?
yes, I'm
Okay.
going to tick this off the list of options at university. It was around that time. And I think I had proven to myself, I'd proven to my mother at least, that I can do this thing. At the time, I was also part of the OTV team
Okay.
during high school as well, and I did Stedfords. So there was enough grounds to say, look, this thing is, I'm kind of good at it somehow.
Yeah.
I'm
Ngiyazama,
on national
ngiyazama.
television.
I'm bad.
Give me a break.
You are being so modest about this. Okay. I love the humility. Yes.
I was like, I'm on national television as a 17-year-old, cut me some slack. I'm showing that I can do this thing. So I also remember around that time, there was a program that my deputy principal in high school, Miss Green, she signed me up for People to People Summit. And I was part of the delegates who went on the film and leadership one. And also parallel to this at school, I was doing one-act plays. I was doing musicals. So there was enough evidence to say, there is talent here. And I want to also cite this as a very important moment because my mother was someone who was quite steadfast about do what you're passionate about. I went to a traditional high school. I mean, I think majority of the people I've come across in the industry went to the National School of the Arts, Pro Arte, and so they had the luxury of sort of being in basic education and following this dream. But I went to a traditional high school. I took accounting, economics, and history. Yes.
So you were that girl.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't have drama as a subject in high school. It was an
Yes.
extramural activity. And so to be able to convince my mother that I'm going to pursue drama at university level, having only done it as an extramural activity, was quite a big ask now that I think about it. So around 18, I think, I was like, you know what, this is what I want to do. And I think I even had the epiphany at that time to say, if I did something and I wasn't even getting paid for it, what would that be?
Yeah.
And even at 18, I knew I could do this for the rest of my life.
That's beautiful. Sure. We're speaking to Mamodibe Ramodibe, who's a film and television actress. One of your songs that you've chosen that you resonate with is Nkulunkulu Munye.
Yes.
And it's by Mpumi Mthweni. Why the song?
Because I just sitting here, actually, I'm reliving that moment of wonder again. I think to look at how far I've come and how the journey has sort of unfolded would be amiss to not recognize that God has truly just been orchestrating everything.
Let's take a listen to it.
702.
Upside of Failure right here on 702 Afternoons. My name is Kgomotso Modise. I'm in for label this afternoon. Thank you for tuning in. My guest in studio is the lovely Mamodibe Ramodibe, who is a film and television actress, and she's been talking us through her experiences with failure. I love that you recall failure from experiencing failure from such a young age. Did you recognize it as failure at the time after your first experience when you were there on stage? Did you feel like you had failed?
Absolutely. And I think it's all demonstrative of the kind of person I was built to be. You know, I mentioned how I was raised by my grandparents and even my mother, I guess, to a certain extent. When you're that age, the way you perform as a child is you excel at school. And so, but I've always had this innate thing of just being very good at whatever it is I do. So I definitely, I knew that, I failed big time, and I need to make up for it somehow. And I think it's just testament as well to, I think I've always been driven. I've always wanted to make my family proud, make myself proud. So I absolutely knew. And I also knew because of how it made me feel. Aside from everybody else around me, I knew that I kind of failed myself here. I let myself down. This is not how I usually perform, you know. So, I mean, it's quite a hard talk as an 11-year-old, but that's just how I spoke to myself,
Sure.
you know. And Kifes Boni, like I said, I was the only
Pressure.
I had no one to learn from. But, you know, the first child, the only grandchild being raised so closely by grandparents. So the expectations were high, and I think I internalized them, but not to my detriment. I think they've shaped me, and I appreciate them.
Yeah. So you go on and, you know, you then join YoTV.
Yes.
Which is great. That's a win for you,
Yes.
right? That's a success. But then you're going to come in contact with more failure in a place where you thought that you were actually winning and you were excelling. Talk to us about that.
I think that is the idea that one carries about how life should unfold. And it was not I don't think it was bad at all to presume that YoTV would propel me. Because if we think about YoTV in the in the 2000s and what it did for, you know, the great Hulisanis, the Salais, the Shadays, I mean, of course, Saifo, right? I'm thinking, all right, if this is how it's gonna go, this is my trajectory. I get to YoTV and boom, 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 boom.
All things are going to work out
All
for me.
things are gonna work out for me.
And that's not quite the case.
No, got into YoTV, and which was also a childhood dream. It was an avenue I believe the Lord just blessed me with because I had so desperately wanted to get into acting from a very young age. And so child acting at the time was not so big. I remember growing up seeing very few children having significant roles on screen. Anyway, so YoTV happens, and somewhere along the line, there is a reform, I should say. You know, we have out with the old and in with the new.
And the old Gwen.
And the old is me.
Oh, no.
And I'm only 21.
Oh, no.
And so there it happens quite swiftly,
Yes.
unexpectedly. And at 21, I'm a full-time drama student at the University of Wits. I'm in my third year going for my honors equivalent the next year. And they release us.
Sure.
But so the same group that I started with, I think you're familiar with Ayanda Nyanti as well.
Yes.
He was part of my cohort at
Yes.
YoTV, and we get released. And then that's it. There's sort of, I go back to being a student. I go back to living a normal life, and there aren't any phone calls. Nothing's happening. And I sat with myself for that entire year going, what is this? Why is it not, why am I not moving?
Why did you perceive that to be your failure? Because I mean, you're released and you get told that you know, we're changing, you know, it's a revamp. And I'd imagine that that was not a reflection on your performance, so to speak, but you owned it as your failure. Why?
Because I'd set it up, right? I had set it up that, for myself at least, that this is how it's going to go after your TV, then it's this, then it's that. And I think, and perhaps maybe here is my own internalized pressure of societal pressure, and that is immediate and extended family, that, okay, after your TV, what's next? Because that is the very common phrase that people as us in the industry that we get. You've just spent an entire 6-7 months working on a project intensely, and you bump into someone. So what's next? And it's like, if you know how hard I've been working, and then I'm on a break. So I guess in some ways, I had internalized that what next at that age. That so now it's your TV even. Without even realizing that I'm a full-time student, I should actually be focusing on my studies. But that was not enough. And I also think that because I had grown up so involved, I was never doing one thing at a time. It felt like the stillness was unusual for me.
Yes.
What do you mean I'm just a drama student? What do you mean I'm not? So it's the nurture and the nature in some ways. And it's things I had normalized that, I had to be doing something all the time, because that was at the time my metric of I'm working towards this thing, whatever this thing is. So being let go at your TV was quite anticlimactic for me. I didn't expect it.
Yeah.
And like you're saying, it was not a reflection on me, but I think I had this plan, and the plan was short-lived.
Yeah, we always have that plan.
Don't we always have plans?
And I mean, what has that taught you about being present, but also welcoming the stillness? Because it will come. There will be a time where there's a climax, and then there's a anti-climax, so to speak. And I don't think we're always we're always present in the stillness, and we get to realize, to appreciate the calm.
I appreciate the stillness now more than I ever have. And I understand it to be part of the process. And as truly an artist, I understand it to be integral for my process. Because I can't give of self fully all the time and set my soul on fire all the time if I am split between multiple projects all the time. I don't have the human capacity to do that. And it's been a blessing that the journey has unfolded as it has, because I believe now that I was at the right place at the right time all the time. Yeah.
And you just couldn't see it. Or you just didn't know.
I was none the wiser. I just wanted to to fly.
Sure. Your second song, one of my current favorites.
Yes.
And I think it goes so well with what you've just shared, right? Musa worship, Fagas.
Oh, yes, I do.
Because you do have a testimony.
have a
Now you've got a
testimony,
testimony
yes.
about the stillness. I want you to tell us more about the song after this.
702.
Upside of failure.
Proof that a setback can lead to a step forward.
It's the upside of failure right here on afternoon, 7:02 afternoons. My name is Kgomotso Modise in for Relebogile, Mabotja. And my guest this afternoon is Mamodibe Ramodibe. She's an actress, film and television actress, and she's with us in studio this afternoon. I want to speak to you about your current role on Outlaw.
Yes, ma'am.
Because I think it's one of your proud projects that you're currently on. Talk to me about it. You play the character of Buang.
Yes. Sure. It is a role that also I think has come timelessly. I had this desire of just exploring action heroes, and interestingly, parallel to Buang's role, my MA dissertation was about transgressive women on screen. And I realized a week or two into the production that I'm playing the very thing I'm exploring in my own research, which is Black women who are transgressive and, who, yes, they're feminine, but they do things that ordinarily society would deem as too masculine. I mean, Buang handles a gun, she rides a horse, and that just is exciting for me to see, as black action hero. And so I guess in this world of this Western and the Basutus and the Zulus, I get to do that. I get to kick ass for fun on screen.
And are there lessons on failure that you're learning from Buang as well? Like, often you hear from artists that say, I've learned so much from my character. This is what she's teaching me about myself. Any of that for you?
Going into Outlaws, it's interesting. When I received the brief, I thought, this is exciting on paper. Like, this is exciting.
Yes.
I can see myself sort of doing this thing. And then the day came when I had to do the thing. And I had to be cognizant of learning Sesotho sa ko Lesotho, which is not my dialect. Kgomotso, by the way. And then gun handling, which I had never ever handled a live ammunition before. Horse riding, I had never. And immediately the A-type in me goes, I don't think I can do this.
Sure.
It's going to go bad. It's going to fall flat on its face. And I had to allow myself, which is something I've embraced entirely, to be a student of life again, to learn again, all over again. And that posture of learning is, I think, what has culminated to this heroine that we see on screen. I mean, this is one of the roles that I look at and I'm like, is that me? Did I do that?
That's you.
Yeah. Can't recognize myself at all.
And just, on your journey now, I love how you're speaking about how you want to be present, at every point, in your life. When you look back, what are some of the lessons that you're carrying with you throughout from that 11-year-old that had their first experience with failure? What's a lesson that you've been carrying with you throughout these failure experiences and even now as you're winning, because you really are winning, you're doing so well.
Thank you. Having encountered God, I now know that this craft and this talent has definitely been bestowed on me. And I think in terms of failure and why the word failure no longer sort of circles my orbit anymore is because I've truly come to realize that for me, the true measure of my life and my success is serving God and stewarding the talents and gifts that I have to give him glory and serving others as well. I'm entrusted with people. I'm entrusted with talents, and mine is to give glory and to serve others. And that just puts less pressure on me trying to perform, So I'm just an instrument in the hand of the Lord. I'm a vessel, and the path that God chose for me is artistry, and I will serve as best as I can through this talent that I've been given.
Liyabasebenzela. That's your last
yes.
song. It's beautiful. It's I know the song, and it's you want to dance, you want to get up. What does it mean for you?
I have seen the hand of the Lord. I have tasted and seen that the Lord is good, and I just have to give him praise on this show, guys. I think everything we've spoken about today, all the glory goes to him. Liyabasebenzela balkholayo, and that is my truth.
Let's take a listen.
Spend your afternoon
With Relebogile Mabotja
on 702.